A moment with one of our guest instructors, Joseph Pearce.
What's interesting about when Beowulf was written, that the Beowulf poet was near enough, if not exactly, near enough a contemporary of St. Bede. And St. Bede's Ecclesiastical History of England, written about the same time about England, is very preoccupied with the heresy of Pelagianism. And again, you might think, well, is that really relevant? I mean, you know what Pelagianism is? It's probably the most popular heresy alive today. It just goes by a different name. It's called self-help. Right? You go to any bookstore, right, and there are shelves and shelves of self-help. Because what Pelagianism is that you just have to listen to the words of the gospel, listen to the words of Jesus, and do it. You can get to heaven through a triumph of your will. A triumph of the will. Just do what's right. Of course, if that's true, you don't need grace. You don't need any supernatural help. You do it yourself. If you don't need grace, you don't need the sacraments. If you don't need the sacraments, you don't need the church. So you see, it's a very modern and also very old heresy. Well, the first two parts of Beowulf is which first of all we're shown how Beowulf is by far the strongest man who's ever lived. Anybody can save us from evil, he can. You know, he rips Grendel's arm off with his brute strength. What a hero he is. And then there's another monster, Grendel's mother, I mean. So he dives into the pond, into the pool, and he's got his sword, his trusty sword, and his arm strength. What's he got to worry about? The superhero. And he slashes with his sword and it does not penetrate Grendel's mother's armor. He's going to die. His strength is not enough. And then, as if by a miracle, a magic sword appears. And in the nick of time, as he's about to be killed, he grabs the magic sword. And with the magic sword, he slashes at Grendel's mother and slays the monster, at which point the blade of the sword miraculously dissolves into nothing. Grace. Doesn't matter if you're the strongest superhero in the world. You cannot destroy the power of evil unaided.
In our literature classes, we've studied a wide array of authors from Bernanos to Tolstoy.
So if God wants to show us who he is, what does he do? He doesn't lecture us via great philosophers and what have you about who he is and what his attributes are. All of that's important. He shows us who he is by telling us a story. The most important story he tells us is he shows us himself in the human person entering the story and showing us what it means to love through a life of self-sacrificial giving of oneself to the other, including the enemy, in who Jesus is and what he does.
We need your help to continue this work. Please consider pledging today. Thank you, and God bless you.